What's up, guys? We're back. We're here with UFC Middleweight, Andre Petroski.
Yeah, he's fighting at UFC Fight Night, Cannonier versus RoboCop, happening Saturday, February 15th. How are you doing, Andre?
Good, man. All things considered, just really training, focusing on putting the last pieces together before we leave. We leave on Tuesday, so everything's good for the most part.
As a middleweight, I'm sure you catched last Saturday's fight, Izzy versus Imavov. What did you think of that fight?
I think in fighting and MMA specifically, like momentum is just such a powerful thing. I've been fighting for 10 years, so I see it, and like typically once a guy starts like declining, it's rare that they make a resurgence. Like typically once you start losing, you keep losing. So obviously like momentum was on Imavov's side. I mean, obviously Adesanya can still fight, but I just don't know. You know what I mean?
How do you like your chances up against Adesanya? I mean, you talked about momentum. You got a lot of good momentum coming in. Adesanya's on a 3-fight losing streak. How do you see that matchup happening if it does happen?
I just think that what Jan Blachowicz did to him, I think that I could do the same thing.
For you specifically, you're probably looking ahead in the rankings, maybe like fighting a top 15 guy. What do you think is like the easiest matchup for you and the hardest matchup for you currently in the middleweight division?
I'm thrilled to fight Rodolpho Vieira. That's a fight that we've asked for before. I think it's just such a tremendous opportunity. I think obviously he's good. Like he's 5-2 in the UFC, and his two losses are to top, I guess top 10 guys. Fluffy and is Chris Curtis top 10 or top 15 at least on paper? Like he's a great fighter, but or I'd say a good fighter, but I don't think he's a great fighter. I think his jiu-jitsu is very good for the sport of jiu-jitsu. I don't think that beyond like his back and his arm triangle, I don't think his jiu-jitsu is all that great for MMA personally. And for that being said, I think it's a tremendous opportunity for me. I think I match up very well against him. So when the call came, I was ecstatic.
I know you mentioned it before. You said it's a good matchup for you, right? Some
Yeah.
people, when it comes to like a matchup like this, they either run straight into the fire, right? Like obviously he's a world-class BJJ artist. You are as well. Is this one of those fights where you think that you're going to try to exploit him in his weaknesses, maybe in the stand-up game, or do you think you're going to go straight into the fire, you're going to try to wrestle him on the ground and kind of test his ability there?
I think that there's certain positions in the grappling that favor me, and I think there's certain positions in the grappling that favor him. So obviously, I want to say in the positions that favor myself.
What's your Mount Rushmore of UFC middleweight fighters?
It's a good question. I, growing up, was always the biggest Vitor Belfort fan. I just thought his whole like aura and like his whole look was just so badass. I thought Vitor was like the fucking man. I don't know if you can consider GSP a middleweight. He fought one time at middleweight. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
That was in New York, right? MSG.
Yeah. We could
That was
count
the
it.
same-
We could count, honestly.
one fight he goes down the Mount Rushmore.
Yeah, yeah. I guess that. I
He used
guess
to
that
go.
you can't do that. That was a wild night. That was when Rose knocked out Joanna. I guess you'd have to say, obviously Anderson Silva. Yeah, Vitor, Anderson Silva, Chris Weidman. Yeah, yeah,
See.
absolutely, Chris Weidman. I think he defended it 2 or 3 times, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And he took the belt off of Silva, so.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a Weidman fan. God, I can't imagine what GFL is paying him. I don't know. I'm definitely weary about it. I'm sure a lot of people are. The conversation that I had with Weidman was we fought on the same card in Boston, and I was trying to get him to do Fury, the grappling.
Yeah.
It was a long shot. I kind of figured that. I knew they weren't going to pay him the money that he wanted, but nonetheless, he was basically saying, he's like, I have one UFC fight left on my contract, and then they are offering me a whole bunch of money. I forget what the exact number was. And I don't think he'd want me to share it either, but a lot of money to box Anderson Silva.
Oh,
So he was like, yeah, they're offering me millions of dollars to box Anderson Silva. No offense, but I'm not grappling you for $10,000. I I was like, all right, that's fair. But with that being said, if that's true, I imagine GFL is paying him a lot of money, more than the UFC would be paying him, because otherwise he probably would have just stayed in the UFC.
Yeah, he was also saying that like Dana was telling him they wouldn't put him on the main cards anymore, so that was also a reason.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess money always talks too, you know.
Yeah, I don't give a shit. You have me the first fight of the night if you're gonna pay me $500,000.
Right, exactly,
Yeah,
bro.
I get in
But
and
yeah, man,
out.
no Diddy, bro. But so you're built like a Greek god, right? You have
Appreciate
one of the
that.
best physiques in the middleweight division. What's your secret, man? Like, what do you eat? What's your diet? What's your training regimen?
Yeah, do you stay like this year round, or is it just fight camp?
Dude, I get pretty big. Like my dad was a power lifter, and I just grew up like watching like pumping iron. I watched like all the bodybuilding documentaries. Like in my heart of hearts, like I'm a meathead. Like I'm not a fighter. I'm a meathead. So like as soon as like this fight's over, I'll spend like 3 weeks like just going to the gym and lifting weights like every day. So like
Yeah,
I've done that my whole life. Like I've always been big into like lifting weights and stuff. So I'd say part of it's genetic, and then part of it's like my diet and exercise. I'm sponsored by a company called Performance Meal Prep, Jesse
Mhm.
Batt, and they're out of Philly, but dude, they're incredible, man. Like I get 10 meals a week, and I can just change these meals from when I'm bulking. Like my last two grappling matches were at heavyweight and 215. So I can tell him, hey, I'm trying to put some weight on. I want to, get up to 220 or whatever it is. And he'll give me like, high carb, high protein meals. Or if it's this week, like he knows he's only sending me low carb meals.
hmm
So just by like adjusting those meals, I can drop like weight fast.
Yeah.
It's yeah, just by doing so like let's say I eat 20 meals a week, and 10 of them are from the meal prep company. Changing um half of the meals of my week, I can make a big impact on my weight, and it just helps. It helps a lot.
What do you usually walk around at?
I can get up to 220. The heaviest
Wow.
I ever got was like 223. Um, And honestly, surprisingly, like I still have a six pack. Like I know I'm not to toot my own horn, but like I carry it well when I do. Like I think it just all goes to my legs. Um, but yeah, 225. But lately I've been, like I said, I had 6 weeks to get ready for this fight, so I did it the right way. I brought my weight down. I've been walking around super light. I'm like between 200 and 205. So yeah, this is gonna be. I mean, every time I say this, I jinx myself, but this should be one of the easiest weight cuts I've had yet. I know everyone says that.
I know you've called out Bo Nickel before a couple
Yeah.
times, man. I love that. Obviously, we'd love to see that fight. Do you have like a hit list of people you want to face before you make your way into the top 15? And obviously, on your journey to the belt, who else do you want to fight?
One of my favorite fighters to watch right now is Hamzat, and if I ever had the opportunity, like maybe like a short notice, his opponent falls through, like I would love that fight. I just think I'm like a huge fan of him. Kind of similar to like the Weidman situation. Like I just kind of respect them and their skills, and I was like, I want to test it. I want to see what's up.
Yeah.
So if I ever had the opportunity to compete against Hamzat in grappling or fighting, that would be like an opportunity I couldn't pass up.
Okay,
That would be
cool.
sick.
All right,
Yeah.
so yeah, first you choke out Bo Nickel, and then you go after Hamzat, and then you're on your way to the title, right?
Yeah, look, so like the argument that I've made since I got into the UFC and I continue to make is that I'm the best grappler in this division.
There you go.
And the only thing that would top off to top off being the best grappler, besides beating Bo Nickel, would be beating Hamzat. I
Yep.
mean, Hamzat is clearly the best grappler in the division, from my perspective at least. I don't know who you could argue is better.
Before we get out of here, man, do you have anything to say to the Andre Petroski fans out there that'll be tuning in next Saturday?
Man, it's just such a great opportunity. I think it's guaranteed fireworks. I think that anytime I get matched up against high-level grapplers, it's a great fight. Mearshart, Maximov. Anytime you've matched me up against good grapplers, it's been a really exciting fight. So tune in. I think you guys are going to enjoy it.
Be sure to check out Andre Petroski kick Rodolfo Vieira's ass Saturday, February 15th, UFC Vegas. Let's fucking go.
Let's go,
Andre
baby.
Petroski, everyone. Appreciate the
Hell
time,
yeah,
brother.
brother. Appreciate
much,
it, guys.